Hey guys, a new season of Mobile Legends just started and it's already season 33. So probably most of you clicked this video because you want to know who are some of the best heroes to solo rank up this season. One of the main criteria for this list is that the hero must be able to do a lot on their own, because in solo rank, you never know what kind of teammates you're gonna get, so being able to solo carry is absolutely crucial. That's why the list you see in Mobile Legends official page is not that accurate, because the win rates of those heroes includes all sorts of matchmaking, like duo, trio and 5-man as well. Some heroes that can do well with a team doesn't necessarily translate for solo rank games. By the way, the list is not in any particular order, so just choose the hero that will suit the situations the best, like for your team composition and to counter the opponent's draft. I will include a build for each hero, but in the future I will keep playing these heroes, make a more in-depth tutorial for them, and I will most likely make some tweaks on their builds. So if you want to stay updated, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Alright, without further ado, let's start with the list. Yuzong is currently one of the strongest fighters in the game. I really don't think there's any EXP that can beat him in a 1v1, especially in the early to mid game. Also, he's an absolute nightmare to the opponent's marksman and squishies. With his full combo of Petrify plus his whole skill set, he can easily one-shot almost any DPS in the game, and there's absolutely nothing they can do. Unless they can all-shot him down while he's ulting, but that's why it's recommended not to be the first one to engage, and wait until the opponents are a bit distracted with your front lines, so then you can scoop the back line. This is the recommended build for Yuzong. Hayabusa is really good for solo rank games, because he can get in and out of any situation a lot better than most heroes. He is one of the best at killing a loner hero, and pretty decent at split pushing as well, because usually you will need more than one hero to be able to stop his push, which will open up the other lanes. But what I really like about this hero is that even if the enemies know that you are the one doing most of the carry and want to shut him down first, he's not the easiest to kill, which is really important when you cannot really rely on your random teammates in solo rank. This is the recommended build for Hayabusa. After a recent buff on Sask and the addition of new items and the rework of many, I have noticed how insanely strong Sask is right now. Before, his spawn needed to attack a few times before it would proxy passive, but now it can immediately slow down the target with the very first shot. That's a huge buff. Also, now you don't need to build those quirky attack speed items anymore, so just go full raw magic power, and you will see that even his second skill can deal an absurd amount of damage. Currently this is the build I recommend, but maybe when I play him a bit more, I might make some tweak here and there. What I like about Granger is that he's not only a jungler, but he's a marksman as well. And you know that in solo rank games, it's a gamble whether you get a decent marksman or not. But since this hero can fill two roles at the same time, it is absolutely great in solo rank. Also, he can carry jungle extremely fast, which is absolutely crucial for those fast rotation during the laning phase. If you have a great start, I will suggest getting Skypiercer. But if your team is struggling and your farm ain't that amazing, just skip it. This is usually what the build order will look like. Ling is definitely one of the best assassins you can play as a solo player. He can move from point A to point B extremely quickly, can farm really fast, can easily kill squishies, is really hard to kill, can split push if needed, can defend split pushers easily, and just many more attributes that make this hero borderline OP. Not gonna lie, sometimes I will ban this hero if I'm playing a hero that will have a hard time dealing with him, especially during the laning phase. But on the other hand, if he's open and you see that the opponents don't have many counters, then definitely go for him and win your match with ease. This is the recommended build. Just like many heroes, if you don't have a good start, definitely skip Skypiercer and go for something else, like Blade of Despair. Aima is another assassin that benefited a lot with the new item Skypiercer. There's almost no hero that can survive his full combo, even tanks in the early game. Like most burst junglers, his playstyle is also pretty straightforward. For the most part, just get when his ult is available, and farm/clear the jungle when it's on cooldown. This is the suggested build. What makes Julian so strong is that he can come online one level before most heroes, because at level 3 you can say he already gets his ult, which is pretty huge if you really take advantage of this and gank the opponents before they have a chance to get their ult. Also, he recently got a nice buff, so now he's enhanced basic attack and his first skill deals a lot more damage. Just one thing to watch out is that there are some heroes that could give him a very hard time to engage, especially heroes that have AoE CC skills like Ruby, Edef and so on. So if you are the only one doing well in your team and the enemy decides to put most of the attention on you, then it becomes quite tricky to engage in the late game. That's why you gotta try to snowball and end the game quickly when you're playing this hero. This is the recommended build. Roger is a pretty versatile marksman/fighter. He can be played either as the jungler or in the gold lane as the main DPS. Either role he can do extremely well. But I personally think I would rather play him as the gold lane right now, especially because in the latest update, they added an item that I think will make him almost invincible. Remember, he's not just a marksman, but a fighter as well, so that means those items that say that marksmen only receive 50% of the effect won't affect him. And some of you can already guess which item I'm referring to. Yup, I'm talking about Thunderbolt. Roger can dish out a lot of damage already, but imagine him being extremely tanky as well. This is an absolute nightmare to deal with. I'm afraid that once I make the video about this broken build, people are just gonna start banning this hero or abusing it. But it is what it is. As a content creator, I gotta do what I gotta do. Anyway, this is the recommended build for now. Or you can go with the crit build, but I personally prefer the Trinity build. There are many games where you'll have a roamer that's not the tankiest, so in those instances, you definitely want to pick a jungler that can sustain a lot, but at the same time still be able to dish a decent amount of damage. Varus is one of the best candidates for this type of situation. Also, with the recent reworked Thunderbolt and War Axe, these two changes makes him even stronger. And if the roamer is one of those supports like Angela, Florin or Mathilda, then Varus just become an unstoppable force. This is suggested build for now. I'm still debating whether Thunderbolt first or War Axe, but either way, it's still an excellent choice. With the recent buff Xavier got, and with the addition of the new talent and items as well, he has returned to the meta stronger than ever before. Now his ult has such a low cooldown that you can pretty much have it ready in 10 seconds or less in the late game. And seeing his ult deal so much damage, imagine constantly blasting the opponent's squishes with his ult and forcing them to go back to heal every time, which will allow your team to push and take the neutral objective with ease. But when you pick him, you gotta watch out for heroes that can jump into the backline quite easily, such as Harley, Fanny, Hayabusa and so on. Once you are caught out of position, you are pretty much done for. This is the recommended build. Although Harif is still getting banned from time to time, after a new season, he's not 100% perma-banned, so when he's open, feel absolutely free to pick him and easily dominate most of your games. But obviously he does have some counters, such as Esmeralda and Mincitar, but even then, if you're careful enough, you can still outplay them quite easily. He used to be best played as a jungler, but in the current meta, it is more efficient to play him as the gold laner. But I've tried him even as the mid laner, and he can still do pretty damn amazingly in that lane as well. Anyway, just pick him if he's open. This is the recommended build. They just can't stop tweaking Edef in almost every single patch. In one update, they buff her to the moon, then the next one nerf her to the ground, and now we are back again with her being quite broken once more. You can play her as the EXP or as the roamer, and even as the gold laner. I really want to play her as the gold laner and build Thunderbell before 4 minutes into the game. Imagine the amount of stacks I could get by the end of the game. I can already imagine how insane that will be. Not only is she gonna be extremely hard to kill, but she's gonna kill anything once her bar fills up and she ults. I definitely don't want to be on the receiving end of this terror. This is a recommended build. Although Moscow got a small nerf in the latest update, I will say it was pretty insignificant. Moscow is still an absolute beast of a marksman and can win the game on his own if the opponents don't have a way to stop him. If he's open and my team needs a marksman, I will 10 out of 10 times pick him. He's just that much of a threat. Also, what I really like about this marksman is that you can split push really fast if your team is falling way behind, and like many of you guys already know, that's one of the best strategies to make a comeback if your team is falling way behind. And if the opponents also think the same way and wants to constantly split push, you can easily stop that with his ult. I will definitely recommend the Trinity build over the crit build. Harley might not be that amazing if you're facing a trio or 5-man, but in solo rank, he's a killing machine. He's so great for solo ranking because he can clear the jungle pretty fast and has great mobility, so you can constantly gank the opponents and open up the map for your team. You gotta learn how to take maximum advantage of the bushes and be sneaky with your approach, or else the success of your games won't be that high. You can snowball the game before they even have a chance to make a comeback, but you gotta be quick about it, because in the late game, he does struggle a little bit. This is the recommended build. I think Hylos is a complete beast right now. Even as a tank, he deals so much damage, because if I'm not mistaken, he is the hero with the most HP based stats in the game, and there are certain talents and items that make you deal a lot more damage according to your max HP. Also, with the rework of certain items, such as Cloud Destiny and Thunderbelt, you can now easily dominate either as the roamer or EXP. I really think he's extremely strong right now, to the point that I will definitely not be surprised if people start banning him quite often once they find out how absurdly strong he is right now. This is the recommended build. There are some honorable mentions that I think are also really strong right now for solo ranking up, and these heroes are Cho, Nana, Alice, Ruby, Chang'e, Esmeralda, and Novaria. These are honorable mentions because some of them require that you really master the mechanics, depend a lot on the team and the enemy's composition, and so on. Anyway, that's all for this video. I hope it was helpful and you'll be able to climb the rank ladder a lot faster and with more ease. But remember, in the end, it truly depends on the user and not the hero per se. So whatever you choose, you just gotta master that hero and you will do just fine. Thanks for watching and see ya.